The 80s, the decade that brought us neon colors, big hair, and the things we'll be talking about today. Join me, Marshall, as I dust off the cobwebs of our memories and rediscover the decade's forgotten gems. From the rise of MTV to the birth of personal computers, these are the things that made the 80s what it is. Grab your leg warmers. MTV. Before the 80s, if you wanted to listen to music, we had to rely on radio or buy vinyl records and cassette tapes. But in 1981, everything changed when MTV burst onto the scene. It was the first channel of its kind dedicated solely to playing music videos 24/7. Nobody can believe it, a channel that showcased our favorite songs with moving pictures, putting the artist's vision and creativity on full display. Music videos became a powerful way for musicians to express themselves, their stories and emotions visually, and MTV made it happen for them. Suddenly, we could watch our favorite artists come to life on our television screens. It wasn't just about listening to their music, it was like attending a mini concert or watching a short movie. MTV was so influential because it brought music and visuals together, creating a whole new experience for fans and artists alike. It gave talented musicians a chance to shine beyond just their voices and allowed them to showcase their personality, style, and charisma. Some artists became superstars overnight, thanks to the captivating music videos that accompanied their songs. The early 80s saw the emergence of music videos that remain legendary even today. For instance, Michael Jackson's Thriller video, which was like a spooky and thrilling horror festival, elevated the King of Pop's already superstar status even further. And who can forget Madonna's Like a Virgin, with her bold and boundary-pushing performance. These videos became cultural phenomena, influencing fashion, dance moves, and even the way we perceived pop culture. Their commercials were also stuff of legend, and it had one of the most quoted lines ever, with the world's biggest stars at the time screaming, "I want my MTV." My personal favorite was Cyndi Lauper. MTV was a massive cultural force. It connected the younger generation, just like how we use social media nowadays. But MTV was the first platform to bring us all closer through music. Decades on, I still want my MTV. New Coke. One of the biggest moments that caused quite a stir in the 80s was when Coca-Cola, or Coke as we used to call it, decided to release a new formula for their beloved soft drink. You see, for many years, Coca-Cola had been the leading soft drink brand in the world. People loved its classic taste, and it was an integral part of our culture. But by the mid-80s, blind taste tests show that consumers liked the sweeter taste of Pepsi more, and Coke felt the pressure to stay ahead of the game. So in 1985, they made a bold move and introduced what they called the New Coke. They believed that this new formula would appeal to more taste buds and attract a wider audience. They constructed extensive market research and taste tests, and it seemed like people preferred the new taste over the old one. Now, you can imagine what happened next. It turned out to be quite the controversy. When they officially replaced the original Coca-Cola with New Coke on store shelves, oh boy, the backlash was immense. People were upset, and some were even outraged. They missed the familiar taste that they had grown up with and cherished for so long. They wanted their classic Coke back. The public reaction to New Coke was so strong that it became a decade-defining moment. People wrote letters, made phone calls, and protested, demanding the return of the original formula. The whole ordeal even made headlines in the news. In the end, the company had to listen to its customers and acknowledge their loyalty to the classic taste. Just a few months after the new Coke launch, they brought back the original formula, and they called it Coca-Cola Classic. People celebrated the return of their beloved drink. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. IBM PC. When computers were first made, they were huge, expensive machines that were mainly used by big companies, governments, and research institutions. They were like towering giants that filled entire rooms and required special skills to operate. But in 1981, a company called IBM introduced the IBM personal computer, the very first PC designed for regular folks like you and I. The IBM PC was a sleek, compact machine that could fit right on your desk, and it came with something called an operating system. This operating system, known as MS-DOS, allowed users to interact with the computer using simple commands. It even had a keyboard and a mouse, things you are probably familiar with now. With the introduction of the PC, suddenly, computing power was at everyone's fingertips. People could now have their own digital tool for all sorts of tasks. And as you know by now, the impact of the personal computer was enormous. It changed the way we worked, making tasks like writing, calculating, the organizing information much easier and more efficient. It brought about a digital revolution in the business world, making processes faster and creating new job opportunities. But it wasn't just about work. The PC also changed our leisure time. It allowed us to play video games at home, and it brought interactive and educational software to the younger generation. They could explore virtual worlds and learn in exciting new ways. The PC paved the way for the digital age we live in today. Without it, we wouldn't have smartphones, tablets, or the incredible technology you have at your fingertips. It opened up endless possibilities and shaped the way we live, work, and communicate. Enjoying the blast from the past so far? Hey, give this video a like if you're feeling generous. And don't go anywhere, there's tons more to look back on, so keep watching. Titanic. In 1912, the Titanic was a luxurious and grand ocean liner and set sail on its maiden voyage. But tragically, it struck an iceberg and sank in the icy waters of the North Atlantic, taking the lives of many passengers and crew. For decades, the location of the Titanic's final resting place remained a mystery, shrouded in the depths of the ocean. But in 1985, a team led by Dr. Robert Ballard and Jean-Louis Michel embarked on a daring expedition to find the shipwreck. After weeks of searching using a special underwater robot, they finally located the Titanic's remains lying on the ocean floor over 12,000 feet deep. The world was in awe as they saw the haunting images of the ship's bow and stern, broken apart and covered in rust, resting silently on the seabed. The discovery of the Titanic reignited public interest in the story of the ill-fated voyage, leading to books, documentaries, and movies being made about the ship's sinking and the lives of the passengers aboard. One of the most famous movies inspired by the Titanic's discovery was the 1997 film Titanic, directed by James Cameron. Though not based on a true love story, it became a massive hit and made stars out of Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Game Boy. My dear grandkids, gather round and let me tell you about a little marvel that brought joy and entertainment to countless kids and adults in the marvelous 80s, the Nintendo Game Boy. Nintendo, a company famous for its video games, introduced the Game Boy in 1989. It was a portable gaming device that revolutionized the world of gaming. This little wonder came with a monochromatic screen, and it may not seem like much compared to the advanced gaming devices you have now, but back then it was cutting edge. The Game Boy was compact, lightweight, and powered by good old AA batteries. It was perfect for long car rides, waiting in lines, or just sitting on the couch, lost in a gaming adventure. One of the Game Boy's biggest hits was Tetris, a puzzle game that challenged our wits and reflexes as we tried to fit falling blocks into the right spaces. It was addictive and provided hours of fun. But then there was Super Mario Land, featuring everyone's favorite mustached plumber, Mario, on a quest to rescue Princess Daisy from the clutches of an evil alien, Titanga. It was a platforming adventure filled with obstacles, enemies, and power-ups, and it made us feel like brave heroes saving the day. The Game Boy had so many fantastic games to choose from, and it brought gaming into our daily lives like never before. It changed the way we played and experienced video games. It was no longer confined to our living rooms, but a portable experience that allowed us to play anytime and anywhere. Well, there you go. The 80s may have long passed, but it left behind plenty to remember. Which of these do you remember? Share your story in the comment section below, and if you liked the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.